What's up, guys? One of my best videos from last year was about the 9 best MOSs in the military, and it did very well. But I've got a lot of questions about the military, like, healthcare sector, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm in the Marine Corps. Like, we use docs as, like, Navy corpsmen that come over and work with us, and we get Navy medicine. But as far as actually knowing and understanding anything about military healthcare world, totally out of my realm of expertise. It's not a Marine Corps MOSs, right? Like, we don't talk about it, we don't act with it. So I brought in a friend. He's actually interning with me right now through the SkillBridge program, and he's building out his YouTube channel, and he's doing a lot of video editing. He's done some of my thumbnails lately. He's awesome. He's investing in real estate. Just all around cool dude who's exiting the Army and taking real estate and YouTube and everything else full time. Austin Clark. You've probably seen him around. If you haven't, you should go follow his YouTube channel right now. And so Austin came to me with this idea and was like, "Hey, your video did great. You know, I see as well that people are talking about, asking about specific, like, military, like, healthcare jobs. And so these are going to be the 7 best military healthcare jobs and what you might be able to expect to make in those fields down the road." And this is Austin's thoughts on this because he's got a lot more knowledge in this realm than I do. So I really hope that you guys enjoy his guest appearance taking over this episode. Make sure that you let him know by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and then going over and liking and following and subscribing his channel, Austin Clark, which I will link to down in the description. So without further ado, my friend Austin.
In the current situation, it's no surprise that the need for healthcare jobs is at like an all-time high, and especially when you join the military with a healthcare job in mind, it can be super rewarding for multiple reasons. You get leadership skills, you get really good on-the-job experience that translates to an even higher paycheck than the normal starting out base pay of a civilian, and on top of all that, the schooling is absolutely free. I'm Austin Clark, and I've been in the Army now for a little over 6 years in the healthcare field, and I've worked with almost every medical MOS there is, just discluding a few of them. So I think I have a pretty good grasp with my experience along with the research that in this video. So with all that being said, I'm going to start with the lowest paid of the top 7 and then stick around to the end to find out what the highest paid job in the healthcare field is. Starting off at number 7, we have radiology techs. Radiology techs make on average in the civilian world around $60,000 a year. One really cool thing about radiology techs is they have so many different certifications that you can get that $60,000 a year can really vary depending on the specific types of certifications that you get while being in the service. And most of the certifications are free. You know, the military will comp for a lot of these with your tuition assistance. And not only does being a radiologist tech set you up for success on all of those other certifications, but if you really aspire to be a radiologist in general, this is a really good foundation to propel yourself in the future to become that. As far as the difficulty goes to become a radiology tech, I personally would give this about a 3.5 out of 5 stars for becoming a radiology tech, and it is about 52 weeks of skill training in general. Next, number 6, we have respiratory therapists. Now, respiratory specialists, they make an average of $62,000 a year, just like rad techs. They have so many options and different routes when it comes to additional certifications. Now, one thing, if you do want to become a respiratory specialist in the Army, you have to actually already be in the Army and then apply to become a respiratory specialist in the future. So you have to go in as another MOS and then apply to go to school to become that. But if you want to join the Navy or the Air Force, you can just do that straight out of either if you're in the Navy and you have to obviously become a corpsman first, and then from there you can go to respiratory school, or in the Air Force you can just go straight into it. But the Army, for some reason, you got to stay in the Army first and then become one. With that being said, I would give this a difficulty of 4 out of 5 because, like I said, not everybody gets into this school because you have to apply for it. And then even when you get in, it is a very, very hard school. I've just known a lot of my friends that have done it, but they do make a lot of money in the civilian world, and it's a very good, needed job in general. And it has a skill training of 36 weeks of instruction. Number 5 on the list, we have dental specialists. I really like this MOS because it has different avenues that they all have different pay ranges. If you choose to just be a basic dental assistant that translates to your basic school level, it becomes $41,000 a year. But after you graduate the basic foundation of just becoming a dental specialist in general, you can get your certification to be a dental hygienist to make upwards to $77,000 a year. This of course has a really good advancement option of if you want to aspire to be a dentist but you don't really know for sure yet, you can become a dental specialist, see how you like the dental field in general, and then go and be a full-fledged dentist, because this provides you some really good foundational knowledge to become one. Now, I would give this about a 2 out of 5 stars when it comes to difficulty scale, because it's only 8 weeks of instruction, and I haven't really heard of a lot of people that fell out of dental specialist school. Next one up on the list is number 4, and that is physical therapy specialists. PT specialists make on average right under $60,000 a year. Now, this MOS has amazing foundations to become a physical therapist if that's what you want to do in the future. So when you become a PTA or a physical therapy specialist in whatever military branch you choose, you have really good foundations to become one, along with the pay in general just to be a PTA ain't bad for the amount of training that you have to do. The school itself is roughly 28 weeks long, and I would give this a difficulty rating of about 3 out of 5. And you get to wear PTs like the majority of the class, which is something a lot of us people that are sweating in the normal uniform in the Texas heat really hate. Number 3, we have biomedical equipment specialists. Biomedical equipment specialists make around 51 a year starting out. Now you're probably thinking, why is this so high on the list with only 51,000 a year? That's where my lovely experience of working with a lot of these people come in, rather than just what you find online. What's really unique about this MOS is there are so many certifications you can get. Even just, if you just look up all the certifications, like there's still probably more, but there's so many that you can get because they work with so many different pieces of medical equipment that if you have a ton of certifications on all these specific types of devices, you can make anywhere to the upwards of 80,000 to 100,000 a year. So that's why I listed this one pretty high, even though if you just look up the starting pay, it's only like 50-some thousand, but this is like a very lucrative job if you really like mechanic work and things like that, because I know so many of my friends that are making bank on the outside. Now, I would give this difficulty rating of around 4.5 stars out of 5 because there is so much you need to learn about medical device mechanic work, and just saying that sentence alone just terrifies me. So when it becomes that, it's also a year long, and that's right around roughly the other jobs that are pretty difficult as well. So if you want to choose this MOS, you have to really love not only mechanic work, but medical device mechanic work. Number 2 on the list, and this is the best MOS ever, and that is medical laboratory specialist. Now, I say it's the best because I'm just biased, so don't take that for literally anything. I'm a medical lab tech in the Army, but when it comes to being a medical lab tech, you see that the average pay is fluctuating around 50 to 55,000 a year. But what's really cool about this MOS is you can become a traveling lab tech, or you can specialize in different types of laboratory medicine and make anywhere upwards to $80,000 to $100,000 a year. It just depends on what job specifically you want and how much of the advancement you want. So in the advancement world of being a lab tech, you can go anywhere from just being a standard medical laboratory technician to a scientist, technologist, to cytotechnologist, histotechnologist. It really just varies on whatever type of specific science you really like to do and want to do, and then you can pursue that and make so much more money. Now, I would give this a difficulty rating of 5 out of 5, and I say that because it is so much science, and maybe I'm just being biased, but it is so much science. Like, you have to love science to become a lab tech, and it's also 52 weeks long, so it's very just long, continuous exams after exams. Number 1, and if you enjoy this video, drop a subscribe and a like for my buddy David, and hey, if you want to go over to my channel and pay me the same favor, that'd be awesome as well. And number 1 is cardiovascular specialist. The average salary can vary depending on what type of cardio specialist you are, ranging from anywhere $75,000 a year to $97,000 a year. While this job is very rewarding as far as pay goes on the outside for the civilian world, it also requires a lot of time in the actual schooling portion, and the difficulty is pretty hard as well. This is by far the longest, basic entry medical MOS there is in the military, and it's good for good reason. It's a cardiovascular specialist. You're literally specializing in working with people's hearts. So as far as the training goes, it's 56 weeks long, and I'm just going to give this a 5 out of 5 because it is very difficult. It's hard to get into. Not everybody gets accepted, and the people that do usually are a lot of people that fell out. You really have to think you want to have a passion in cardiovascular surgery and all this other stuff if you really want to pursue that option. So with all that being said, just a quick disclaimer, these are just averages. They obviously vary depending on the specific location of all these different jobs, what you specialize in, and all the other scenarios. It's really hard to have just like a definitive salary in general, but this is a really good ranking of really high paying jobs that can be really rewarding in the outside world. And once again, if you found value in this video and you thought it was helpful and maybe it opened your eyes and you had just a miracle moment of, I should probably join one of those MOSs, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and show my buddy some love. Thank you so much for watching.